Emily and David Anderson had been married for 10 years. They lived in Chicago, but David had just landed a new job in a small town in Texas. Excited by this change, they bought a beautiful house in a quiet neighborhood with tall trees and well-kept gardens. As soon as they arrived, their next-door neighbor, Jake Lawson, came to welcome them. Jake was tall, muscular, and had a charming smile. He had been living alone since his divorce and was well-liked in the neighborhood. From the very first glance, Emily felt something special about him, but she paid no attention to it. David was often at work, leaving Emily alone for long hours. Jake, always willing to help, offered to fix the garden fence and later accompanied her to the market. Gradually, they spent more and more time together. Emily felt comfortable with him, as if she could tell him anything. She laughed more often and felt more alive. Yet, a small voice inside reminded her that she was married. One evening, David came home late from work. Emily and Jake were sitting on the terrace, sharing a glass of wine and laughing heartily. Seeing her husband arrive, Emily felt guilty, even though nothing had happened. Jake looked at her intently and murmured, "You're special, Emily." Her heart beat faster. She knew she was crossing a dangerous line. Emily began to feel a mix of joy and guilt. Each day, she eagerly awaited seeing Jake, talking to him. But at night, she felt bad, thinking about David and their marriage. David, absorbed in his work, noticed nothing. But Emily wondered how long she could hide what she was feeling. One afternoon, while David was away on a business trip, Emily and Jake went hiking in the nearby forest. Away from prying eyes, an inexplicable tension built between them. Jake took her hand to help her cross a stream. The touch of his skin sent shivers through Emily. A heavy silence settled between them. Then, suddenly, they kissed. Emily immediately stepped back, breathless. "No, I'm married, Jake." "I know, but I can't deny what I feel for you." Emily ran away, her heart in turmoil. Back home, Emily avoided Jake. She felt ashamed, guilty, but also troubled. Her marriage with David suddenly felt empty. David noticed her distance. "Is everything okay, Em? You seem worried." Emily nodded, unable to tell him the truth. Despite her resolutions, Emily couldn't stop thinking about Jake. One evening, while David was sleeping, she looked out the window and saw Jake on his porch, alone, staring at the moon. As if hypnotized, she stepped out silently. When Jake saw her, he smiled sadly. "Are you afraid of me, Emily?" "I'm afraid of what I feel." Jake slowly approached. Emily and Jake found themselves alone several more times. Each meeting grew more intense. Emily knew she was risking everything, but the attraction was too strong. Finally, one night, she crossed the forbidden line. David eventually discovered the affair by seeing messages on Emily's phone. Devastated, he demanded an explanation. Emily, in tears, confessed everything. David felt betrayed, but he still loved his wife. Jake, on the other hand, realized that he had only brought chaos into their marriage. Emily had to make a choice. After much reflection, she decided to fight to save her marriage. She cut all contact with Jake and asked David for forgiveness. The road to forgiveness was long and difficult, but Emily learned that true love requires commitment and fidelity. Moral: sometimes temptation seems irresistible, but giving in can destroy what is most precious. Trust and loyalty are the pillars of true love.